this is NJ, your host on this channel. In this video, after a long span of time, we will have our discussion on the science of palmistry. So do not get scared. I am not going to be teaching you from the whiteboard with a very weird shaped hand, the way I used to make videos when I just started my channel. But guys, just because lately many people have been asking me about that, why I stopped uploading content on my other fields, on the science of numerology or on Vastu, on palmistry. So somehow this occurred to me that out of all these sciences, because I still have a very soft corner and a very strong sense of attachment with palmistry, because palmistry only made my professional foray into the occult subjects, and palmistry only gave me this confidence to speak in front of camera. So I just thought, okay, let's have a quick revision video on the science of palmistry, which will be a very good breezer for all of you guys. I'm very much sure it's very hot out there. You want to relax with some interesting video. And because guys, as you know, that palmistry is not as complicated as astrology could be, or palmistry is not as layered or detailed as other fields of prediction and fortune telling could be. Because in palmistry, just while looking at someone's palm superficially, predicting events is one thing, but when it comes down to having a quick idea about someone's personality, like the way just looking at someone's moon sign or someone's moon placement in the chart, you can still tell a lot about someone's thought process, someone's feelings, emotions. Same way, just while looking at the palm, and the very cursory look at someone's palm can give you a lot about someone's personality traits. That is something which you will try to do in this very quick snapshot video on the science of palmistry. So guys, for all those people who do not have much of the knowledge of palmistry, or you started or you joined this community on YouTube only when I started continuously uploading content on astrology. So first we will have a quick overview about what exactly I mean when I say palmistry. So guys, the most important thing is that in our palm, there are those puffed regions which are the representation of the planets on our palm. So like the way as you can see on your screen, so the puffed portion just beneath your index finger is known as the mount of Jupiter. Beneath your middle finger, which you should not use to flip off people, but this is the area of the planet Saturn. Just beneath your ring finger is the region of Sun. Just beneath your little finger is the region of Mercury. Now Mars has been allotted two regions. One region is just on the middle of the palm, farther end towards the percussion, towards the little finger, which is known as the upper Mars, and the portion which is just very close to the end of your thumb is known as the lower Mars. Beneath it is the region of love, beauty, and appreciation for beauty, which is the Venus, and on the other side is the region of Moon. Now guys, second thing is that second slide, just as a quick revision, is what does the mount of Jupiter on our palm represents. So guys, when we talk about the representation of the soul, like the way we believe in the science of palmistry, because I have done a full-time course in Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan of palmistry. So the way it has been believed that the prana shakti, those life force first enters the in the body of a child first from the index finger. So on the science of palmistry, this could be seen as the center or reservoir of the soul. So this is what the mount of Jupiter, or the region beneath your index finger in palmistry, represents. The section beneath your middle finger just represents the region of the mortality, because definitely Saturn has got a say over here. Just beneath your Apollo finger is the region of the integrity and fame, which we will very soon get to know in next slide. And the region beneath your little finger is the region of your communication, and the whole percussion side region on the palm represents your intuitive faculties. And guys, on the region beneath our thumb represents the section of sensation. After that guys, the next slide is that if you actually want to understand the way our will function, so the region beneath the index finger can be seen as the direction of your will. A lot many times you would have seen people, whenever they are trying to exert their authority, they are always pointing fingers at others. Do you know who I am? Do you know about my knowledge or my power or my position? So somehow the amount of Jupiter or the region beneath index finger represents that. The whole region, as you can see, which encompasses the region beneath the middle finger and the ring finger, just tells about our true intentions. After that, guys, our reaction. Somehow Mercury region or the amount of Mercury can be connected with that, along with carrying half of the region of the outer Mars. Then definitely, guys, the region of the moon, which represents our receptivity, and the amount of Venus primarily tells about our love for the universal consciousness, our love for the our human interpersonal relationship, and also love for the religion. And guys, the portion which is called as the inner Mars also tells about our capacity to take initiatives. Definitely, if you want to understand it on a very grounded level, so the amount of Jupiter or the portion beneath the index finger also tells about our ambition. The portion beneath our middle finger represents our resourcefulness. Beneath our Apollo finger represents our culture. The portion beneath the little finger represents the compassion. A portion of the outer Mars tells about tenacity or perseverance. And guys, definitely creative faculties, which is the domain of the region of the moon. And guys, the region of the Venus on our palm, which tells about love. And just above it, because Mars and Venus are true lovers, and they are also well connected on our palm as well. So the inner Mars is demonstrating the attributes of the aggression. Now guys, next slide is about just because now I have given you a basic overview of the region on our palm being carrying the energies of different planets. So if you want to have a snapshot assessment on certain parameters, like let's say for example, if you have to see the signs of ambition, like this could be someone is going to have an ambitious personality or not, or how driven some person is in the life. So on the palm, you should have an idea about which all areas you have to give attention to. Beyond doubt, guys, I have already mentioned this thing, that the region beneath the index finger, the amount of Jupiter in the science of palmistry, chiefly tells about how ambitious a native is. So somehow, guys, there are certain signs which tells about that. So in the science of palmistry, if you want to understand, the three major lines all rise on the mount of Jupiter, which bears a star. So let's say for example, if you will find heart line, head line, and the lifeline, all the three lines originating close to the mount of Jupiter, that is a very good indication. And second thing, on the mount of Jupiter just beneath the index finger, if you will find a symbol of star, nothing could be better than that. After that, guys, the mount of the sun also bears a star. So another star, if we will find beneath the ring finger, that is also considered as very good, which is an indication of success in your professional endeavors, getting fame, recognition, and also in certain cases lottery win has also been seen with this symbol. After that, guys, if you will find the lower mount of Mars carrying a triangle. So guys, as you know that in the science of palmistry, the symbol of triangle is generally attached with the intellectual qualities. Nothing could be better than that. If you will find like a symbol of triangle, a well-formed independent triangle on the mount of Mercury, on the mount of Rahu, on the palm, that is a very good sign of a very intellectual personality. But yes, guys, even in the lower Mars, we will find a triangle symbol that also tells about that this is going to be a native who knows how to make his move. Like you will not find someone who will be very headstrong or someone who's going to be very rash, because the domain, the region of the aggression is carrying the sign of mental aptitude. So you know how to make use of your animalistic instincts for your success in your advantage. After that, guys, let's say for example, if we will find the line of fate rises on the mount of the moon and reaches well up to the mount of Saturn. So as you know that the line of destiny, fate line, Saturn line, they all represents all these, all are the same name of the line which goes towards the middle finger, towards the mount of Saturn. So if you will find this line to be originating from the percussion side, from the mount of moon, it is considered as a very good sign. Here we are talking about from the point of view of a ambitious personality, someone who's going to have high ambitions, and if you will find all these kind of validations and signs, then the possibility is going to be very high that native will be able to fulfill his ambitions as well. And guys, at the end, if you can find the first finger and the little finger are noticeably long. So the first finger, which is the index finger, which is the finger of ambition as well, and the little finger, which is the finger of Mercury, of communication, of being very opportunistic or being very confident, being very resourceful. So these two fingers, if long, with all these combinations, this is a good indication of having a very ambitious personality or being able to fulfill all of your ambitions. Let's say for example, when we talk about the sign of intuition, like let's say for example, I always say this thing that in astrology as well, you pick up any signs of fortune telling or any of these divine or occult subjects, you definitely need intuition. But even after that, like specifically when we talk about astrology, if you are a chartered accountant, if you are good in calculations, if you are good in mathematics, you can also become an astrologer. But even after that, guys, because I'm also a consulting astrologer as well, I'm a professional, and I can tell you when client's query comes and when all of the concepts which you have studied, which you have seen, and everything you have to apply in the real life situation of the person, so somehow you need the omens to guide you. You need your intuitive faculties to land at a concluding answer for the client's question. So because of which, definitely in these fields, intuition plays a very important role. I always say this thing. Let's say for example, if you know astrology, right, and you have made a query about starting a business, and if let's say for example, your dashas are promising that as per the astrology principles or the way it has been mentioned in Bhratura Shastra and all the classical text, and your dasha is promising it, the yogas are promising it, the circumstances are promising it, transit is promising it, but at the time when I'm doing your reading, if the omens start giving me some ill indication, like suddenly weather is turning wrong or there's something happening around me, so it's a nature's indication to me that the answer to the client's question might not be very favorable. So irrespective of the fact that all the calculations are indicating in one direction, but being an astrologer, a professional astrologer, I will still give more weightage the way omens are guiding me for my client. So intuition plays a very important role in this business. So yes guys, or let's say for example, you do not want to make use of your intuitive faculties to become a occultist or to become a psychic. You want to make use of all of these intuitive faculties to do something good in art, to do something good in the scientific pursuit. That is your choice. But what are the signs for that? So first is guys that definitely a sensitive hand or intuitive hand, you will find the fingers to be very pointed, like the way all the universal energies we absorb first from our fingertips. So you will find these people having a very pointed fingers, more than the very spatulated or bulbous kind of fingertips. You will find their fingertips to be very pointed. After that, you will find a triangle on the mount of Saturn. So guys, like the way I already mentioned this thing, that the triangles in the science of palmistry are considered as the symbol of intellectual pursuit. So Saturn on our palm represents spirituality, and having a triangle over there just tells about that a very the person could be having a knowledge of yoga, yogic scriptures, or having an intellectual say or take even in the adhyatma, in the spirituality, or someone who has been initiated in a prescribed way by some enlightened guru. This could also mean that. And well developed mounts of Venus and Moon. Definitely we need that. Moon in itself represents your intuitive faculties. And after that, line of intuition. So the line which you can see on the screen on this image, that a line which is connecting the mount of Moon with the mount of Mercury. So that means mount of Mercury, which represents your intelligence, mount of Moon, which represents your intuitive faculties. They both are well intertwined, they both are well connected. And lastly guys, if you will find ring of Solomon on the mount of Jupiter, that is a very good sign, having a strong edge or grip over the human psychology, divine grace as well. And lastly, grand cross. So cross right on the middle of your palm, in between your heart line and the headline, is also a divine seal of having a strong intuitive faculties. After that guys, when we talk about the signs of jealousy, a lot many times, and that is the only reason why science of palmistry is very important for us. Just while looking at these kind of indications and signs, you can actually guard yourself, protect yourself, or make right choices while dealing with people around you. So guys, definitely the first combination is the heart line rises late. So because in the science of palmistry, it's the heart line only which tells about someone's emotions, feelings, receptivity, how open you are with your love, with your receptivity towards the well-being of the people around you. Because guys, when we talk about caring for someone, emotionally attached with someone, so these all are the traits which your mind cannot function properly. It's your heart only, your feelings only. So whenever you find heart line to be short or starting kind of little bit late, in the form of, rather than starting from the beneath the index finger or the region beneath the index finger, you will find it on a very bottom of the middle finger or the mount of the Saturn. So that in itself tells about that which in a way makes the heart line kind of little bit short, or it rises late. And beneath the mount of Saturn, which bears a grid. So guys, generally in Hindi we call it a net or jal, or you call it a grid. So a crisscrossing lines combination. So if you will find it on the mount of Saturn or the mount of Jupiter, this is not a very good indication. This in itself tells about very restrictive mindset, very restrictive, self-centered kind of thought process. And in addition to that, the rest of the signs which I will share, it can make someone very not only self-centered but selfish to an extent, or in extreme cases being envious of success of people around him or her. So yes guys, if you will find the mount of Venus which bears a triangle, the line of fate or the destiny line has got an island, which is not considered as good in the science of palmistry, and specifically it is very near and close to these kind of lines on your wrist, which is in Hindi known as the Madhibandh Rekha, and in English we call it a reset. So this is not considered as good, and the fate line in itself has got very chained formation. So for someone to be very jealous, majority of the times the indication comes on the Saturn getting afflicted, whether in the form of its finger, whether in the form of its mount, or whether in the form of the line of Saturn. After that guys, let's say for example, when we talk about a very secretive kind of personality, like someone who has got a very secretive personality, very introvert, or kind of lot of childhood trauma or stigma. So for that, the indication comes from the heart line. So you will find a chained heart line, a break in the headline beneath the mount of Saturn. So guys, this is also very important. In the headline, which is a line of your comprehension, of your intelligence, if you will find any good symbols or bad symbol, important is where it is occurring. Let's say for example, if a good symbol is there on the headline and it is there just beneath the index finger, it's a very good indication. Same way, your headline is very long and a positive sign like a triangle, like a star, like a square is appearing just beneath the ring finger or the mount of Sun, it's a good indication. Same way, mount of Saturn or the Saturn finger is a area or it's a region of restriction, problems, obstacles, and headline which tells about your comprehension. You will find a bad symbol like the way I have just mentioned, that there is a break in the headline and it is also there just under the your mount of Saturn. So that in itself is just giving us this indication that heart line is already afflicted, headline has got a issue, that too under the middle finger. So that in itself tells about that some sort of stigma, trauma, or big major secret with this person is hiding about his past, or some traumatic past can also be connected with this kind of alignments. And yes guys, along with that, if you'll find an island in the lifeline and a noticeably very chained kind of muddy band rekha or the reset. After that guys, let's say for example, when we talk about specifically the combinations which helps you in order to remain lucky in the matters of money, specifically when we talk about the so-called gambler's luck. So over there, what could be the indications for that? So guys, the first indication is that if you will find, see, what matters is that the major lines and the secondary lines, they are very easy to decode, like the way lifeline tells about your health, about the major events, headline tells about your intelligence, heart line tells about your feelings, about your emotions, your receptivity. Then comes the secondary lines on which we see the fate line, a line of destiny which tells about your profession. Then comes the sun line which tells about your fame, recognition, and the mercury line or the health line which tells about your communication, concerns of health. So after these primary line, major lines, or the secondary line or the minor lines, when these kind of influence line, wheresoever these influence lines actually act as our dasha getting changed or transit influencing us, they appear in a very minute way on that short span of time when some event is getting promised in your life. And that is what the role of the palmist is. Like, I still remember when I was learning the science of palmistry, I used to go for my classes with a magnifying glass in our hand. Like every single time in the class, whether looking at each other's palm or working on the assignments, we used to see all the, like, if you actually have to make prediction, here I'm not only talking about the assessment of someone's personality, that you can do just looking at the major lines, but if you want to get into the deeper nitty gritty of the predictions, then you have to catch the influence line. So yes guys, if you will find a line of influence from the mount of the moon, it's a good indication. Any of the upward rising lines from the mount of the moon in itself is a time of opportunity because of the help of outside world, outside people. A line of influence from the mount of Venus to the mount of Saturn is also a very good indication. Like Venus is a domain of luxury, love, and towards Saturn, which is a domain of your profession, so some recognition. After that guys, a line of influence from the mount of Venus to the line of fortune, which is also called as the sun line, is considered as a very good indication. So Venus line, a line from the mount of Venus making a connection with the sun line, so that in itself tells about that some recognition, luxury, financial rewards in that age, in that specific time. And if you'll find, the hand also bears an upward curving headline, which in itself is a good indication. Well formed lines of destiny or line of fate and line of sun or line of fortune. A cross on the mount of Jupiter. Cross on the mount of Jupiter is considered as very good because this is a sign which tells about a good matrimonial life, but also blessings of the gurus. And after that guys, if you will find a triangle on the mount of Mercury, I already mentioned this thing. A triangle in palmistry represents intellectual kind of expertise, and if being there on the mount, which in itself tells about your business, about communication, so that means you are very adept in the business skills. And if you will find this symbol in combination with all other signs which I just mentioned, it is a good indication that someone is going to be making good money. After that guys, if you will find and a star on the uppermost bracelet on the Mani Bandh Rekha which I just mentioned, so on a star on the top of the bracelet on the wrist, the little finger is also long and curves inwards towards the sun finger. So yes guys, because little finger is the finger of the planet Mercury, and generally we say that if it's long and little bit crooked, it is generally considered as good, that it's like someone who is very smart and opportunistic. And guys, in the last slide we will try to look at the indications which could tell about that yes, this person is definitely going to be successful in the life. Like this could be in his professional life, in his business aspirations and all. And again guys, this palmistry analysis has got more to do with the psychology and with the assessment of someone's personality traits. So guys, the first indication is that if you will find the fingertip, the hand with spatulate fingers shows all the sign of success. So that in itself means that hand, to begin with, the fingertips are very spatulate. So and the line of fate has rising branchlets, and the line of fortune terminates with a star on the mount of the sun. So I'll repeat this thing. So guys, because what we indicate or what we assess in the science of palmistry is that the upward branching lines are always considered as good, and specifically if these branches are coming out of the line of Saturn or the line of fate or the line of destiny, all these are the same name. So that in itself tells about that in your professional venture, those are going to be the time periods, because Saturn line or the fate line is very easy to age, and if it has got lot many branches coming out of it, that in itself tells about opportunities, more and more opportunities. And guys, the second thing which I mentioned, that if the line of fortune, the line of fate has rising branchlets, which we discussed, and the line of fortune, which is the line of sun, terminates with a star on the mount of the sun, this is a best indication that someone who has got a strong and a long sun line, and it is culminating on a star on the mount of the sun, the region beneath your ring finger. That in itself is a very good indication, assured indication of success. And after that guys, if you will find the mount of Mercury which bears a triangle, the mount of Saturn a square. Square is a symbol of protection in the science of palmistry. You might have any major affliction in any line, but if it has got a square above it, it is a indication of protection. After that guys, you will find the mount of Saturn a square, the gambler's cross is beneath Jupiter and a highly placed star. So on the mount of Jupiter you have a cross and you have a star. The mount of the moon bears a triangle, so a triangle again on the mount of moon, so which will make your feelings, your imagination very intellectual, very kind of filled with logics, rather than just being in always that romantic or that bohemia kind of mindset. And after that guys, if you will find a line of influence runs from the mount of Venus to the mount of Saturn, and a tie line or a tributary connects the headline to the mount of Jupiter, so upward rising line, which is called as the progress line. So from the headline a line is going towards the mount of Jupiter as well. And the fingers are evenly disposed at their base. So at the base you will not find the lines to be like the palm, where the fingers are getting connected with the palm to be making a curve. You will find them even set, all the fingers on the palm. So all of that makes a very driven personality or a life which will definitely meet success in his journey. So yes guys, this was just a basic overview, because it has been a long gap since I uploaded any content on palmistry, and I'm very much sure that you must have enjoyed this video, because it's not like astrology. Just after watching one video, at least you can understand your psychology, your friend's psychology, and when it comes down to looking at some specific signs of success, so you will definitely be able to impress people with kind of snapshot personality assessment done through palmistry. So yes guys, for further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology and palmistry, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page. Dhanyavad.